We continue Lone Star Politics this morning with more on artificial intelligence.
We reported last week how businesses were using the technology to save money on human resources, administration, and marketing. The Texas Association of Business held a training with the Richardson Chamber of Commerce to teach small businesses how they could use it to help them.
AI literacy is going to be a prerequisite for small business success. Just the way you think about the state of Texas, and really every state says you need to be able to read by the time you exit third grade. Every small business is going to need to understand how to effectively use AI tools to survive.
But there's another side, the threat, job losses, criminals using it for evil, and straight out of science fiction, humans losing control.
The Texas-based group, the Alliance for Secure AI, worries about artificial general intelligence overpowering humans. Longtime Republican consultant from Texas, Brendan Steinhauser, was just tapped as its CEO.
Creation of wealth, advancing scientific discoveries, a lot of good can come out of AI that is used for those specific tasks. What we're concerned about is what's called artificial general intelligence, AGI. And you know, think about a very, very powerful computer virus backed by the smartest computer hacker you've ever met. And then give that person a PhD in every science and every subject known to man. And they don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't rest. They're just computing all the time, planning, plotting, and executing plans. That's a little bit scary when we're talking about creating this intelligence, this artificial intelligence that by all accounts will be far superior intellectually to human beings. That puts us in a really precarious position.
You are somewhat trying to protect humanity against the things you see in movies, the Terminator movies with Skynet taking over.
A lot of these leading lights who have been thinking about this for decades, who have been, professors of computer science and AI, who have actually contributed to the building of these technologies, have been expressing these concerns. And the scariest part is that even the people in industry, like the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, has literally said, yes, AGI, if we build it, could destroy humanity, but there could be some great companies along the way. So it does give us pause when somebody in industry who's building this technology is saying that.
Now you're scaring people.
Well, I believe, I'm an optimist. I believe we can actually get this right for humanity. I believe we can, if we have the proper safeguards in place, we can solve that alignment problem and we can make AI work for humanity. And so that's really what the focus is. And I have some colleagues who are doing some great work on that, trying to solve that problem.
Last week, Senator Ted Cruz pushed or supported rolling back the ability of states to regulate AI. It didn't happen, but it begs the question, how should AI be regulated? Should it be state by state? What should the federal role be?
Yeah, it's one of those things that it depends on who you talk to, and there's a lot of different opinions about this. But I think that the way I would lay it out is when it comes to things like national security and geopolitics, that has got to be a federal policy set. When it comes to things like protecting children online from, all sorts of horrific things that AI can be used for, when it comes to states having a say with what state agencies are doing with AI, that's clearly a state prerogative. And because AI is going to be so prevalent in pretty much all aspects of society, I think there's a role for the federal government and there's a role for the states.
Are you worried at all about how tough it could be to regulate an industry that potentially will always be changing, always be getting different and even more tough to rein in?
Yeah, it really is tough to regulate something and to pass laws when something is changing this fast. And so I think what we've really talked about is focusing on things like, the frontier labs, having better security, better information and physical security so that the Chinese Communist Party doesn't just come in and steal the technology from American companies. That's something we can do. That's something they can frankly do on their own. You can look at things like the export controls over these chips, these powerful computer chips that are something we don't want to be smuggled into China, but are being smuggled. And so there's legislation on that that I think would allow us to better track those chips and prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. And so things like that, I think you can do. I think that trying to pass, an overarching, set of regulations would be tough, but finding areas to work on narrow specific things, I think is the right approach.
Data centers may not grab your attention as you drive by, but what's happening inside directly impacts your life.
Anything that you do on your phone or if you're streaming TV, everything has to have a physical footprint somewhere, and that's here in the data center.
We'll take you inside as Texas emerges as a leader in the industry. You are watching Lone Star Politics.